And I have a very well-prepared few remarks here, but I think, much like myself and Deputy Murphy 20 years ago in the debate in chambers of UCD, we might as well respond to each other, because I think that's why we're here. Minister, I won't necessarily be giving you soft points, as Deputy Barry has been laying out, but I will be saying to you some of the points that I've said to you in person, I've said to you at our party meetings, I've said to you publicly. This report is a welcome report. It is a tough read for many of us on this side of the House, including yourself, Minister, and I welcome your own personal endeavours and efforts to rectify many of the wrongs that are cited in this report, pay being part of it. But I must ask the deputies opposite, when you talk about pay, what are we paying our members of the Defence Forces to do? To implement social programmes or to defend the country? I heard earlier Deputy Murphy talking about welfare over warfare, and that's extremely welcome comment, and I agree with you, Deputy Murphy, but if you live in Estonia and your welfare system was shut down for 3 days due to a cyber attack by the Russian government, well, what's it used to? We need to have the systems, we need to have the resources, and we need to have the attention to be able to keep our people safe, to ensure that the housing that is going to be built, to ensure that the social programmes are going to be built, are not going to be manipulated by state and non-state actors. And I'm not relying on dodgy intelligence, I'm relying on the intelligence and the evidence of state and non-state actors who are putting out quite clearly their intention by massing troops. We have to be fundamentally honest with ourselves, Lascan Corla. The days where we can bury our hands in the sand and say we can be absolutely neutral and we can condemn Putin and then suddenly turn around and condemn countries who are our natural partners and allies. We remember the European Union. We remember the civilised... I didn't interrupt you, to be fair, Deputy Barry, despite you directing at me and despite your cassations, the Minister. We are members of the European Union. We do have allies. We do not spend time in this globe alone. And we have to be serious about our responsibilities. 12 fighter jets on their own, of course, are not going to work as a deterrent, but that's why we have to work in partnerships. There are other military neutral countries in the European Union who can contribute far more than we do. Sweden, Austria, Finland. There is a level of ambition in this report, Lascan Corla, that I believe is welcome and it should be embraced. I believe it can be embraced by the vast majority of people in this House if we work together in a way. Yes, ensure that we have the systems to ensure that the members of the Defence Forces have proper redress in terms of pay negotiations, as well as proper redress to ensure that the culture and the environment that they're working in is appropriate, but equally that we have a system whereby we can work with natural allies to ensure that Ireland, Ireland's people, Ireland's interests are protected. Because at the moment, when we look around the threats that are on the very near horizons, be it our sea border or be it on the eastern flank of the European Union, there are growing state and non-state threats that we have to be fundamentally concerned about. The cyber attack this past summer on the HSE was something that devastated families around this country. We're talking about upgrading computers and systems in the HSE. Deputy Boyd Barrett, you referred to it earlier in Taoiseach's questions. Fundamentally agree with you. We have to make sure that those systems and those computers are safe. And that isn't just downloading an antivirus malware. That's about working with partners to ensure that we have the intelligence and the resources to secure those systems in every way possible. Lascan Corla, when we talk about this report, it's not just about the individuals, it's not just about the systems, but it is the tools and the manner. And you need to be able to have defence forces that are properly equipped. There are ambitions in this report that are far-reaching. I do fundamentally believe they need to be embraced. And I don't believe it's a this or this, either this or either that. I think we have to look at this in the realistic responsibilities of government, any government, to protect every member of the society. We ensure An Garda Síochána are able to go out in the streets properly protected and protectly informed. We ensure that they have the relationship with the police service in Northern Ireland, the Met Police, police services across the European Union to work to counter criminal activity. It is the same with our defence forces. We simply have to work in partnerships that suit us, but we have to be able to bring something to the table in that partnership. We have great resources in the state, we have great experiences in terms of counter-terrorism work, in terms of building technological systems across the public and private sector. We have something to bring, but at the moment, when we speak to European colleagues, we're not bringing enough in terms of collective responsibility. And that's not talking about the myth of a European army or the over-militarisation of the war machine that is the EU. Rather, it's the quite simple, basic responsibilities of any government, any functioning Western democracy, Lascan Corla, to ensure their people and their people in the state and around the world are kept safe. Minister, I fundamentally welcome this report. I urge you here, as I have before and as I will continue to do, and you rely on my support and not just soft points, to embrace this, to work with partners across the political realm, across the public sector, the private sector, but most importantly with the current and former serving members of our defence forces, to ensure that we have a defence force that is fit for purpose, not just for today, but for the next 10 to 20 years. I welcome the report, Lascan Corla. I look forward to having many, many more opportunities in this chamber and beyond to work about, most importantly, the full implementation of the recommendations. Lascan Corla.